There's a tiny little bug, not talking about Varroa destructor mite, no, there's another bug that gets in our hive and that can just ruin our honey super, even destroy our hive. I'm talking about the small hive beetle, and this year I've had more of them than I usually have. I think it's because the new apiary has a lot of shade in it, and that's probably why more beetles are down there. But today I want to attack the small hive beetle. I got a lot of things I want to share with you today. We're actually going to go out into the hive. I'm going to show you what they look like. You're going to just see them go vroom everywhere. They're like cockroaches, and beetles are the same way. When you take that top cover off, whoom, they just go rolling out, and you can't smash them fast enough, you know. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 traps that we use that really are effective for trapping beetles. We have the little laundry sheets that are effective, so we're going to use those in a hive today. I'm going to show you how to use these. We have the beetle blasters that I really like a lot. Now here's one that you can open up and close it, put the oil in, close her up and everything. And then we have a similar product that is more of a disposable type. It's similar, you just have to be careful when you pour the oil in, not to spill a lot of excess oil, getting the oil in there, because any oil can also kill bees, so we have to be careful. So we have a couple of traps here, and then we'll have these sheets we're going to use. I've got some oil here that we're going to put in these traps. Vegetable oil, in this case I'm using some olive oil. That's kind of a waste of olive oil. I love olive oil. And we're going to get into a hive and see if we can trap some of these beetles. But I'm going to tell you the #1 way to get rid of beetles in your hive is to keep them out in the sun more, as much as you can. I know it's not always possible. And smash them. Smashing small hive beetle, I got to tell you, it's pretty darn rewarding. I mean, just taking a hive tool. You almost need to take 2 types of hive tools into the hive. You're going to have your J-hook for when you're lifting frames out. The J-hook does a swell of a job doing that. But it doesn't have the bend and the smasher on the end of it like the traditional hive tool has. So that traditional hive tool with the bend on the end gives us a lot of area to start smashing some small hive beetle. Have you ever tried to smash a small hive beetle and accidentally smashed a bee? I'm asking for a friend. So be careful, don't kill your bees, but you do want to smash those beetles as best as you can. Now you might think small hive beetles are you might want to confuse those with the Varroa destructor mite. No, they're much bigger than a Varroa destructor mite. You're about to see that. They really can destroy your colony. If you're in the south where it's really hot and humid, and it's been hot and humid all across the US this year, beetles really do reproduce very quickly in very hot and humid areas. So beetles are really maxing out in a lot of places. If you're fortunate enough to live in a place where you don't have a lot of beetles, and that's been my situation most of the time, then you don't really have a beetle problem. You kill 1 or 2 in a hive, things are okay. Got to be honest with you, most of my hives here in the YouTube studio yard don't have a lot of beetle problem. Also, I'll give you a hint. Most beetles in really hot weather are down in the bottom of the hive. Now, we often think they're at the top, but they're not. If you have a bottom board slide out tray and it's really hot outside, you're gonna find them down there. So when you get ready to slide that out, slide it out and start smashing. Maybe I'll do that and show you what it looks like. It's just like, it's crazy. You can't smash enough. They're everywhere. So you got to slide that board out and start smashing. So let's go out to the bee yard. Let's have some fun. Let's try to reduce our number of small hive beetle. Let's go. Now, one of the things I like to do with these sheets is I like to kind of scratch them up a little bit. It seems like that the more fuzzy, they use the word fuzzy, the more fuzzy they are, then the more likely beetles are to get trapped in the pad itself. So I just take them like this, and you can see the instructions say to run them through the washer and dryer. That gets them a little fluffy like this, but you can see this really works good. I just take a wire brush and just kind of snag the little pieces up a little bit, make them kind of, you know, get the idea. Make them a little fuzzy. Look at that. Hey, while I'm getting set up in the bee yard, guys, I want to let you know that I'm going to be speaking with Cayman Reynolds at his new conference on January the 4th through January the 6th. All of us on the YouTube here, beekeeping content creators on YouTube, are all going to be there. And just look at this list of speakers that are going to be January the 4th through January the 6th. It's called the North American Honeybee Expo. And it's going to be held in Louisville, Kentucky at the Expo Center there, a little closer to me, so that's going to be enjoyable. So if you want to come hear me speak, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. And I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you that are on Beak Squad. Wear your Beak Squad t-shirts. I'll leave a description link right down here. You can actually order a Beak Squad t-shirt so that you can be at the conference. Going to be a lot of people there. Take a look at the website here of the North American Bee Expo. Wow, North American Honeybee Expo. Look at the speakers. Look at all the vendors. It's going to be an awesome conference. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. This burlap that I use in my smoker is really good. And because I actually put the little stopper in my smoker when I'm finished, I can reuse that big chunk of burlap from last time I used my smoker. And it's catching on fire again, but I got a new piece here. I'm just going to add a little bit more. All right, that's going to get my smoker going. I got my oil ready so that we can oil up our traps. And look at this. Do you remember me telling you, you really can't do well smashing beetles with a J-hook? I mean, you got that little edge, but look at this. You can use the traditional hive tool that's got the built-in smasher, or if that's too big, look at this, a smaller hive tool to do some smashing. Or look at this, for micro smashing. Wow, when you really want to have a precise kill of small hive beetle, use a tiny little hive tool. I brought the big guns to get them today. And what we're going to be using today for our Swiffer pads are going to be the Beetle Be Gone. These I got from Date Ant, and it looks like they're made by Bee Weaver Honey Farm. And you know, you can use a lot of things that are available. I'll leave an Amazon link if you want to get some off Amazon. I think there's one called Dynamax that's also used for polishing. What we're looking for is like a microfiber. I'm not crazy about using the real ones made for laundry because they have a lot of chemicals on them. They smell, you know. Now today, I'm not even wearing a hat or a veil, and may regret it, but I'm gonna see if I can get by without using a hat and veil today. Wow, that came out abruptly. All right, get ready to smash beetles. Are you ready? All right, there's one here in the middle. I got him confined to the top. So you're just looking across any beetles that you might see running around. Here's our top that has the, oh, there's a beetle there, running across. Oh, almost got a bee, but I didn't. Got the beetle. All right, smashing is always going to be better. All right, let's look for beetles in here. You can see in the little circle, oh, there's one right here. See the beetle right there? So smash it, got it, it's dead. They're pretty tough little things. Now, I know that a lot of you have many more beetles than I do. There's one right here. I got it. So we've killed about 3 or 4. And again, think of it like all of these beetles you're killing, there's one there, are actually females that are going to lay eggs. There's one down there. I think I got it. Maybe not. Let's go after it more. Okay, now we got it. Hive is pretty full of bees, and there's probably a bunch of beetles in there. So let's go ahead and play with our oil traps now. I'll just smoke the bees because I'm wearing no hat or veil. Let me prove it to you. You're probably like, oh, he's got a hat and a veil on. Can you see me? No hat and veil or gloves. Beetles in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 beetles hanging out on the outside. Yeah, so these microfibers here don't have any chemicals on them. And this is one that I've kind of fluffed up a little bit with my brass brush. But let's get some bees out of the way over here and show you. Now, one thing to remember, beetles are chased around by the bees. And so they're going to be chased to the outer edges of the actual frames. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to scrape off a little bit of this out here so I can get a flatter application of the pad. It's actually a sheet, I guess, not a pad, but all right, so that's a good spot right over here. And so I'm going to lay it down like this, right about here. And what's going to happen is the bees are actually going to try to tear this up. And the more they tear it up, chew it up, they're actually going to start fluffing it up by chewing it up like that. And so this would be a place where beetles will get trapped. We're going to try this out. I'll make a future video where we'll come back and see if these things are any good or not. But why not put a couple of them in there? So let's put another one over here. Going after beetles, gotta be honest with you, is a lot like fishing. If you fish with more poles in the water, you're gonna catch more fish. And if you fish where there's fish, you'll get more fish. So you gotta put your bait where there's some fish. All right, so we're putting our bait, we're moving our Swiffer pads around so that we can probably get a little more activity of beetle activity. So let's put one over here by this edge. Now let's put some oil traps in. So as you can see, we're going to add the oil. Now I have to be careful here. I only want to add no more than 1/4 inch in each side of this trap. And if you put more oil in there than 1/4 inch, it gets too high to the top, then the beetles can actually start to go into it, but use the oil to climb back out. So in this case, try to keep the oil level sort of low in the trap, and that's what does the trick. All right, so I'm going to put it right here against the wall, and that's a good spot because bees will chase the beetles down toward the outside of the hive against this wall here. And there's a pretty good gap there. Let's get this oil trap and see if we can wedge it in here. Boy, it's going to be tight. It has had these little legs here, and that needs to go around the frame right there. And it's still tight. Let me grab my hive tool. Let's see if we can shove this frame over and enough where we can. Ooh, boy, that is not moving. I'm moving the outside wall, but not the frames. It's going to be tough. Let's see if we can make it fit. I want to be careful, and I want to spill oil everywhere, but let me see. That's not going to happen. Let me see if I can move this frame over here a little bit more. Maybe if I can get it started, I can probably use my hive tool to push that frame. There we go. That's working good. Not bad. And it's fitting pretty good. I need to get this side over here though. Let me see if I can stretch it out a little bit to force it to go down more. I want it to sit flat because I want to be able to put my top cover on without it being held up by the trap. So yeah, that's working pretty good. Almost got it perfect. I think that's going to work good. Maybe a little bit more over here. Oh yeah, I think that looks good. That's perfect. Okay, I got another trap, the more disposable oil traps with the oil in the bottom. And again, I'm going to try to figure out how I can get this wedged in the gap right here. I feel like the more traps I have on the outside, it's going to work out really well between that frame there. So let's see if we can smoke some bees out of the way here, and then we'll just create a gap. A lot of you might ask me at times, how do I get this trap in there? Because, you know, as you can see here, the honey's kind of pulled out wider, so it's a little challenging to force that trap down in there. But in this case, the bees have capped this honey over. They're not going to pull it out any wider. So the best thing, oh, I just saw a beetle back there, but the best thing that we can do is go ahead and separate the frames with the hive tool. This is going to be a good spot since we see some beetles back there. And we just move that bee out of the way, but we can set it right here in between these frames, and that's about as good as it's going to get. And you want to put it pretty flat on the frames here. As you can see, this area right here, the beetles will go down in the middle, but look, around these edges right here, beetles will be trapped by the bees. They'll build beetle traps under there. They'll propolize that. And so what you want to do before you ever remove it is smash it with your finger right here along this edge. Like rub your fingers on it or your hive tool. If you don't, beetles are going to run everywhere. Now, remember when I told you beetles are always on the bottom on hot days? You're going to just be grossed out by this. Are you ready to be grossed out? Now, guys, this is going to be crazy when we pull this sheet out. Beetles are going to run everywhere. Get ready, okay? Watch closely, and then we're going to start smashing. But before we do, hey, I want you to do me a favor. Can you help me out a little bit? Just do me one quick favor. I make a lot of videos. I work hard for you. Just asking for a favor in return. Please subscribe. I'm really going to be watching this time to see if you'll do me a favor. Going to see if that number goes up. If you subscribe, I would so much appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. Click on the bell to be notified each time I make a new video. Now let's slide this board out and watch the beetles go crazy. Oh my gosh. Look at the beetles. A whole pile of beetles. Let the smashing begin. Oh man, I can't smash them fast enough. They're everywhere. I don't want them to get in the yard. I'm going to put it on top of the hive so I can smash them better. Oh yeah, up here I can do a little better smashing job. And look, they're so easier to kill up here because you don't have bees in the way. I got that one bee sitting there, but you can just go around and smash all the ones that are down on that bottom board. If they get off the bottom board, they won't be getting in the grass. They'll be getting on the top cover so I can keep smashing them. This is a great way. Look how many beetles are being killed. Unbelievable. Wow, they're just hanging out on the bottom. So that's a good way that you can kill a whole lot of beetles right there. Look at that. Wow. If you're watching this video on the same day that I'm publishing it, we're going to have a live stream tonight where I talk about 4 things that took me 20 years to learn. So be sure and follow this link right here and watch my live stream tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time. It'll also be a time for you to ask me questions. I'll see you then. I just made a new video where I show you how to identify your queen, how to find her, and compare her to a drone. Some of you get that confused. In that same video, we take a mite test. I show you how to do an alcohol wash. I actually show you how to use the Ceracell mite test kit. And in that same video, we actually do an inspection where you can get an idea of how you gather 300 bees, an easier way than I've showed you in the past. So you need to be doing mite tests. This video is really good. If you haven't seen this video yet, it's all about using Formic Pro strips to cut down on mites. So watch this video right here, guys. You're going to want to watch this. I'll see you over there.